Hi, it's Jonny. I thought I would do a little update for you, and it's a bit of a different one, really. I know most of you saw that I've moved into my new apartment, and here I am. So lovely. I love it. It's a complete mess, but I've got the lounge sort of where I can sit, and I have a bed, and I'm sorting all those things out, and so that's happening. But I told you all about that the other day, so I'm here. Course is going brilliantly at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. Oh my God, I sat there today and had my first exposure to Robert Burns's poetry, and I loved it. It reminded me of nights down the pub when I was younger, getting absolutely inebriated and having a wonderful time with friends and wonderful poetry. Anyway, there we are. That's exciting. Things to do. But I'm coming to the end of this week, and hopefully most of the unpacking will be done by then, I hope. I've got a big day tomorrow cleaning the cupboards in the kitchen because I'm not putting my china in it unless it's spotless, darling. It's not happening. So I've got to do that. I might start that tonight, but we'll see. And then tomorrow I'm in university. I've got a creative writing seminar and critique of some of the writing I've done. And then I'm packing a very small bag, because who needs a lot of clothes in Gran Canaria for reading week? Because you don't. But I'm off on Saturday, and I will be doing some work there, and I will be getting some literature work done. I've got to do a romantic gothic vlog, which is my first assignment to do. So I'm going to get that done. But that's not why I wanted to do an update tonight, because yesterday, amongst all of these boxes and everything that I've got to do, I went into the Heath Hospital in Cardiff for a 6-monthly cancer checkup with a consultant. And I hadn't really thought about it, because there's no point thinking about these things until they come. So I hadn't been really worried or stressed or worried about it. And there's been so much else on that I haven't worried too much. But when I got to it, I thought, oh goodness, I wonder what I'm going to hear. Because last week I had to go along to my GP, just takes a phone call, to go and request a PSA test. And the PSA test measures the level of testosterone being produced by your prostate. And, you know, anyone that's watching this, yeah, guys don't want to talk about their prostate very often because it's just so personal, and we're taught as men that we don't talk about that sort of thing because we ignore it, and it's deadly to ignore it. So please don't ignore it. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky that I didn't ignore it because my prostate cancer was aggressive. But anyway, I got there yesterday and I had the results from the PSA test with a consultant, and the last time I had a PSA result, it was 0.1, which is very, very low, almost non-existent, and that's very good news. And what the consultant told me then was that we need to try and keep it under 2. So after 2.5 years on hormone therapy, because that was the route I went, I didn't go for surgery, I went for the hormone therapy route, and I wish I had had more advice at the time, because I'm not sure whether that was the right decision for me then, because 2.5 years on hormone therapy it's hard to describe the impact of it. You don't feel that you're yourself. Some of the things that happened, lots and lots of symptoms that women sadly going through the menopause would experience. So the hot flushes, the mood swings, the emotional dislocation, the awful feeling of not being yourself, and primarily the loss of any sex drive, completely. And you know, it was only about 2 months after I went on to the hormone therapy that I did a bit of research on the internet. Always a bad idea, right? Because you get the horror stories. Yeah, one of the horror stories I read was some research that was done about 5 years ago, which said that of 203 men diagnosed with prostate cancer, only 5 were still alive 20 years later. And of course, you think, right, that's it, I'm going to die. But of course, you know, you have to understand that a lot of those folk would have been quite old anyway. And for somebody to have prostate cancer at my age is absolutely not unheard of, but it's not as common, yeah, this young. So, yeah, that worried me. And then, of course, you read things like the story of poor dear Alan Turing, who created or worked towards creating the code breaking at Bletchley Park during the war. You know, as a gay man, he was put on hormone therapy by the courts as a punishment for being gay, yeah? And within 2 years of that, he had taken his own life. It's that debilitating. It can be. Some guys just sail on through it. I didn't, and I found it tough. And so back in June when I saw the consultant last, I said, how long do I need to stay on this? And he said, how long have you been on? And I said, well, it's two and a bit years. And so he said I could come off the hormone therapy in mid-August. And that was great because it coincided with a holiday that I was planning to Gran Canaria. And, you know, I wanted to have a little bit of myself back. I wanted to have some sort of sex drive back because it's not been there. And it's really hard to explain that to people who don't get it, particularly men, because it's so fundamental to who we are, the people that we actually are. And it's hard to understand it. The debilitating effect of that, you just don't feel that you are yourself. And so I came off the hormone therapy, and of course in August, and I had a PSA test then, and it was very low. And then I had to have another one last week, ready for the consultant this week. And as I drove into the Heath Hospital, I was worried about it. I thought, oh goodness, if it's really high, then it's back into scans and back into treatment and back into surgery, maybe, who knows. But anyway, I went in and he came out and called me in and he said, well, it's very good news, John. Still call me John. My name is Jonny, by the way. Yeah. It's very good news. He said, your PSA level is 0.4. And he explained to me that that's absolutely expected after 3 months of not being on the hormone therapy. And I was just elated. And he said, well, you're fine for now. He said, come back in 6 months' time, have another PSA test, and we'll see where we are. And we'll just carry on like that. And if we go 2 years with it like that, then, you know, it will be once a year. So, and he reiterated to me that I have a 50 to 60% chance of a total cure. All right. So for those of you that might be listening, those guys that might be listening who might have been diagnosed with prostate cancer recently or living with it now, you're dealing with a lot. Yeah. But you're still here. Yeah. The guys that I really feel for are those who let the symptoms drift. And they do. Because, oh well, you know, what are the symptoms? You know, you need to pee more frequently. I'm going to read some of these symptoms for you so that you know. Yeah. If you find that you're needing to pee more frequently, particularly during the night, yeah, there might be an issue. Yeah. If you find that you're rushing to the toilet, suddenly you need to go. Yeah. That might be a red flag. Yeah. If you have difficulty starting to pee, that's described by the medical profession as hesitancy. Yeah. That might be a red flag for you. If you're straining or you're taking a long time while you're peeing, yeah, again, something else to keep an eye on. If you find when you're peeing that there's a weak flow, that there's not much coming out and it's very slow and it's taking a long time, yeah, keep an eye on it. Yeah. If you're feeling that your bladder hasn't quite emptied, it's called retention. Yeah, hasn't quite emptied. And the reason for all that happening is because for guys with an enlarged prostate, which is often a precursor to prostate cancer, not always, but often, what's happening is that the prostate enlarges and it restricts the flow of urine through the urethra. And that means that you're peeing more slowly. And because you're peeing more slowly, you might need to go more frequently because your bladder's filling up and it's not emptying properly and you might get retention and so on. Yeah. And the final one, yeah, if you find there is ever blood in your urine or in semen, yeah, then you need to go to a GP and you need to get it checked. Okay. Now with prostate cancer, it's absolutely crucial that you get it checked as soon as you have any concerns. It's just a little blood test and they'll tell you whether you're okay or not. And that's fine. There's no embarrassment involved in this at all. And you need to go. If you feel that you might have symptoms like this, then you need to go, because it's your health and, you know, your life, and your life is precious. Yeah. As is mine. But, you know, what I want you to know as well is that here I am now at the other side of that for now. Yeah. At the other side of it. And there is hope, because here I am 2.5 months off of hormone therapy. My sex drive is back and I feel alive again. I'm much more emotionally stable than I was. I was like this all the time. It was going all the time. Those of you that have been around me over the last 2.5 years, you know well what I was like. Yeah. And here I am. Yeah. In a new place, with a new life, and looking forward to it very much. And for those of you that have stood by me, by my shoulder through all this time and were there for me, for those of you, yeah, thank you so much. Because without you, I wouldn't have got through it and I wouldn't be here now. So I'm so grateful. Thank you. Well, that's it really. Yeah. I hope all of you are well. Yeah. I hope this has been interesting and useful. And even if only one person listens to it and it makes a difference for them in terms of getting themselves looked at and getting themselves sorted and helped, then it's worth it. Yeah. Look after yourselves, and I'll be back